Thank you for asking. Please note that our conference is live on YouTube channel and the link will be shared in the chat box. And that link you could share it on your social media channels. And if you have any query, the email ID will be shared over the chat box and you can just mail us on the same mail. Let's wait for the other participants to join. Hello, Roland.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay, quite fine. I just have a class, so I have to get back immediately to the classroom.
No worries. We'll just start now. Thank you everyone for joining and
I can be back. I can be back like maybe about 40 minutes later, once the class is over.
Sure. Okay, no problem.
Is that okay? Thank you very much. Then I welcome everyone, and I'm terribly sorry one more time that I have a class right now. So please understand it, and I will join as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so let's begin with the conference. Welcome to the Eurasia Research Live Conference. And I would like to give a brief introduction about Eurasia. Please allow me a moment.
You move the highest mountains, cross the greatest oceans, and walk across the water. You feel defeated, falling on your knees and looking up for some hope tonight. You try to stand up, but you throw your hands up. You no longer have the strength to fight. You've seen too many sunsets, too many days, ending in the darkest night. But on your own, you'll never know, you'll never know. If you move that high mountain, cross the greatest oceans, walk across the water. Believe you can move the highest mountains, cross the greatest oceans, walk across the water. If you believe, they say that all you need is faith, but it's almost like you lost your way. Took a few wrong turns, took a few breaks, falling behind now looking for grace. Cause you need someone to lift you up, yeah. Make right of the things you've done, cause on your own you'll never know, you'll never know. If you believe, You move the highest mountains, across the greatest oceans, walk across the water, the water. Believe you, you move the highest mountains, across the greatest oceans, walk across the water. If you believe, if you believe, you can do anything. You can do anything. You can do anything if you believe. If you believe, you can move the highest mountains, cross the greatest oceans, walk across the water, the water. Believe you can move the highest mountains, cross the greatest oceans, walk across the water. If you believe.
So, uh, welcome to Eurasia Research International Conference. And please allow me a moment to introduce Eurasia Research to you in a nutshell. With over more than 1 million satisfied members and associates spread across the globe, Eurasia Research is a scholarly association who have been working for nearly a decade. Eurasia Research has organized several successful international conferences, workshops, and training programs, been tirelessly working for Eurasia Research World and have not stopped their endeavors even during difficult times and have presented research community with online platform which was safe and convenient method to continue their passion. Objective. We are an international community of researchers, practitioners, students, and educationists who aim to bring together worldwide researchers and professionals, encourage intellectual development, and to create opportunities for networking and collaboration. These objectives are achieved through our academic networking, meetings, conferences, workshops, projects, research, publications, academic awards, and scholarships. Some of our key highlights: we provide scholarship to deserving candidates to promote students and research scholars to participate in the international conference. Young Researcher Scholarship is provided in a form of full registration fee waiver with scholarship names page. We have vast experience of publishing papers for more than 7 years. Our associated journals publish original papers, review papers, conceptual framework, analytical and simulation models, case studies, empirical research, technical notes, and book reviews. With Pupil, we cater to more than 30 plus themes in the area of teaching and education and have registered ISSN and have following renowned indexing: Google Scholar, Crossref, Authenticate, Crosscheck, Authenticate, Crossref, the Keepers Registry, Scribd, Portico, Road Directory of Open Access Scholarly Resources, OAI-PMH, Registered Data Provider, PKP Index. We will soon be applying for Scopus too. We have a wide network of 100 plus internationally acclaimed keynotes across the globe who share their knowledge and guidance with the participants with open hands. We have a large number of committee members and advisors who support to us and guide us through their expert opinions and decision-making capabilities. We couldn't have thought of reaching here without them. We also encourage our participants to connect with more than 15K plus followers on our social media platform where they can share their research and interest. Join our Facebook group and be a part of the discussion by the researchers and academicians. We also have several collaborations with universities, colleges, and institutes to better serve all interested and like-minded intellectuals. With great enthusiasm and pride, we would like to request our participants to enjoy the benefits of our lifetime membership in just USD 60. We have over 10,000 plus members from across the globe. We would like to share some of our past participants' experience with you. Thank you for your patience and valuable time. Moving forward with the conference. Welcome to Eurasia Research Online Live International Conference. Today are the participants, and today we have presentations and participants from 5 countries around the world. We are broadcasting this conference on Facebook and YouTube live on multiple pages of Eurasia Research. The links for the live sessions are shared in the chat box. Today, I am your host, Sheenu Seni from Eurasia Research. Our Terra President, Ms. Lynn M. Shelley. She's PhD Higher Education Executive Retired Adjunct Professor from Boston College, Chestnut Hill, MA and USA. Let's see what she has to share with us.
My name is Dr. Lynn Shelley, and I'm an executive leadership consultant, full professor, retired. I am currently teaching adjunct in the executive doctoral program at Boston College in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, and at the University of New England in Portland, Maine, in their doctoral program as well. I've been in the profession for 44 years as a teacher and as an administrator from grades pre-K through doctoral programs. And I consult with colleagues around the world in these areas of leadership and culture building and transformation and strategic planning. And my research is focused in areas such as that, not only in education, but crosses over into other disciplines that have common goals and common strategies that need attention and need to be moved forward in this ever-changing global world.
So, ma'am, the first question, we would love to hear about your research journey, how it's going, and the projects you are handling right now.
My research, my name is Dr. Lynn Shelley. I'm president of the Eurasia Terra group, and I'm very happy to be here. I have been doing some research and starting some writing about the leadership in this new global environment, transformative leadership in the new global environment that we are living in, and hoping that this research will help current and future leaders at every level in any type of an organization. It's very interesting because of the AI connection, because of the global impact that the cultures and the variables that are happening around the world are having on every organization.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing such delightful thoughts. And ma'am, my next question would be, could you please share with which paper you are working on in this moment?
Transformative leadership in a global environment.
Okay, ma'am, good to know that. And ma'am, how do you manage to balance your teaching responsibilities alongside your research work as well?
Well, my balance is that I've always done work and research that I can use and apply to my administrative and consulting positions. Right now, I am an executive leadership consultant. So the research that I'm doing really applies to my role as president of Terra, but also in work that I do with colleagues that are still in practice, and I can help them along the way to enhance their leadership skills.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And ma'am, do you travel internationally as part of your research work?
I travel to the Terra conferences as the president, and usually I do a keynote. I've been in education for 44 years, 3 level. Most recently, the Dean of Graduate and Professional Education at LaSalle University in Newton, Massachusetts, United States. And prior to that, I was Dean of Professional Leadership Programs at Endicott College in Beverly, Massachusetts, United States. And my main travel was with Eurasia Terra as the president and keynote speakers. So that's what I have done. I've also done other conferences. Once I became president, I felt like I needed to really give my focus to the organization, to Eurasia Terra, and to be able to impact around the world. Most recently, I sat on a dissertation committee at Boston College, Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, with a vice president from a university in Russia.
Okay.
And she was trying, her dissertation was focused on changing culture to adapt to the global world. And Olga did a fantastic job. And of course, when I have those kinds of opportunities, I talk about this wonderful organization so that we get a presence around the world.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for sharing the details with us. And ma'am, my last question would be, what advice would you give to early career researchers, like the beginners, and what advice would you like to give them?
The advice is multifaceted. I think that there are several things that they have to keep at the forefront of their minds. That research that they do should always be something that can impact their work, their organization, and or the world. So it has to be current. So to that point, they have to be proactive in where they're focusing their research and knowing what's happening in the world all the time in their certain professions, if you will. They have to add, they have to value add to their professions. So that would be very important. They have to have an open mind that their research, especially if it's quantitative, might not necessarily bear out the results that they want. And that's okay, because that shows what really is impacting their work and their organizations and the world. And the third thing that I would do is have them network with people and colleagues like myself and other people doing work, not necessarily in their own professions, but if it's a crossover kind of focus for research that crossovers different professions, that they network and become familiar and have standing meetings with other researchers, because that can be so rich and can help people so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving the advice, and it will be very helpful for them.
Thank you, Thera President Dr. Lynn Shelley, for sharing these wonderful words with the young researchers. And I would like, moving forward, let's Today we have our eminent speaker, Dr. Kumar Neeraj Sachdev, Associate Professor of Philosophy, Department of Humanities and Social Science from Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, Rajasthan, India. Let's see what he has to share with us.
Sorry, there is no sound.
Yes, there is.
Who is Assistant Professor of Philosophy and in the Department of
I hope it's audible now.
So, hello, sir. I hope you're doing good today.
Yes, thank you.
So, we are grateful to have you at the Eurasia Research chat session today. And now we will be starting with the question. And before starting with the question, I would like to introduce you to the viewers of this chat session. That is Neeraj Kumar Sachdev, who is Assistant Professor of Philosophy and in the Department of Humanities and Social Science from Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, Rajasthan. The topic that he has presented in our conference is unraveling the ambiguities in CSR in the business world, a professional ethics perspective. So, sir, as you have presented this topic, unraveling the ambiguities in the understanding of CSR in the business world, a professional ethics perspective, can you please explain your research in a nutshell?
Madam, actually, I'm teaching professional ethics as a course to my students here who come from different background, engineering, science, and they are required to do 3 humanities courses in the institute for their degree program. And there is a pool of more than 30 courses from humanities. And professional ethics that I teach, that is one course. The other course that I'm teaching, that is applied philosophy. And CSR is a topic in professional ethics course that I have been teaching, and it's a mutual learning. Whatever they are that we asking and that we contributing, whatever I am able to contribute with the help of text material and my own reflection on that. So that is somewhere growing up because now I'm into my 26th year of this teaching. So what I do, I take the that way topic generally from my teaching and I take it to the level of research. So I was always that way interested in a CSR also as a subject. And somewhere I was facing certain confusions, ambiguities in the that way understanding of CSR as a topic. And the students were also that way contributing that this is not clear, that is not clear. So there are like, because on the one side you are saying CSR is good as an ethical initiative. And on the other side, you are saying no, managers should not be doing CSR. They are employed for profit only. So that kind of conflict was always there. That was creating ambiguity. That as a business manager, should I be really doing CSR or should I be simply caring for profit of my company? So somewhere perceptual ambiguity or definitional ambiguity or maybe argumentative ambiguity that was indicating that particular fundamental conflict. So somewhere then I kept on studying, talking to them, and then I could that way finally do some part of it and present in the conference in the form of presenting that set of ambiguities and then suggesting that with the help of study material and thinking and contribution of students. Then I somehow talked to the people in the conference on 10th July this last month in Bangkok, where it was a matter of exposure that I could talk to them and talk about that yes, there can be a solution to that also. That if a manager is caring for all the stakeholders instead of only shareholders, who are constituting only one group of stakeholders. If he's caring for all stakeholders, employees, customers, local community, then definitely that can be a proper approach to CSR that can help him to overcome the conflict or the ambiguities also. So then in brief, that is what I was just trying to do. And anyway, any research for that matter is continuing. So maybe something more will be coming in the future also.
Definitely. So thank you so much for sharing the research in a nutshell. And it was really interesting to know all these factors. Also, now I would like to ask that what were the main challenges that you faced during your research journey?
Madam, the challenge is something like I have to work at three levels as a faculty. I have to work for the students as a teacher. I have to work as a researcher. Then I have to work as an employee for certain, because all employees are contributing to the working of the institute also in different capacities. So then somewhere the challenge is that how to really balance all the three sets of responsibilities. Because I have to do research also, then I have to work for the institute also, then I have to teach students also. So it's, and then apart from that, I have to be that way caring for myself and my family also. So that is also always posing the challenge that how to really maintain that balance. It is always a challenge. Even in my 26th year, I'm still taking it as a challenge that because if I do something for this, then that part is always there to take care of. So that is one. The other challenge that I may mention is that how to really accommodate what students are saying into your research. Because I'm always interested in carrying forward the teaching work into the research work. That is somewhere I am always interested. So how to really, it's always a challenge how to really accommodate the observations which are coming from engineering the students, science students. They are saying something for CSR, for example. I have to now accommodate that in my research work. How I have to look for answers to their queries, which can be answered in my research, and I can go back to them and maybe that way deal with them better. The somehow coming together of my teaching and research. So that is somewhere the challenge that I always face, and somewhere that way I maybe sometime I enjoy also. It should be there.
That's really true. And I think every researcher would relate to these challenges. So thank you so much for sharing your views. Now, as there are so many challenges during your research journey, there must have been some motivation that kept you going. So I would like to ask that motivation so that the viewers of the chat session could also be benefited.
Motivation, if I philosophically begin with, the motivation is that I get to learn something more. I get to learn something new. That was always a motivation for me because learning itself is a matter of pleasure. That you feel more comfortable in your that way approach in your thinking. And then second motivation is that I'm able to respond to the students better. That is always a motivation for me, that I want to go back to students as a better person, as a better researcher, as a better teacher. So that is always a motivation. That it's somewhere I am thinking for that always.
So thanks for sharing your motivation as well. That was great that learning is always a pleasure.
Yes.
I really do that. Now, there are so many young researchers that you might have also interacted with. And I would like to ask what advice you would like to give them as they have just started based on your experiences and insights.
First of all, I would be saying that yes, young researchers are doing really well because they are appearing to be more updated. They are more that way eager to learn. They are always eager to participate and that way do well. But still, like if I say something to them that yes, nowadays with the advancement of technology, they should not be over dependent on technology. Because sometimes, like for example, you can enjoy reading a hard copy of a book also. Instead of all the time reading from a screen, you should be, reading from the book also. But that will give you a different, maybe experience altogether and a different pleasure of learning also. And then the second thing that I have also noted, and I was talking to my daughter who's into MA clinical psychology, and she's also a young researcher. Sometime we discuss and we were sharing the point that the young lot is generally focusing on the recent research as far as possible. Maybe in the last 5 years, what has gone on the basis of that, they try to produce something in their research. It's good to be updated. It's good to be that we're sticking to the updated thing. But we were discussing that there is always a need to go back in the past also. Because we should not be shying away from what has gone in the remote past. What Aristotle was saying, what Sigmund Freud was saying. We love discussing Sigmund Freud, me and my daughter sometime, going back in the remote past. And then making use of that in your current research. Instead of focusing all the time on the very, that way latest research only that has gone, and then you focus on that and produce your research based upon that. I would be saying that try to go back as far as possible and try to dig deeper also for your maybe better outcome of learning and better outcome of your research. That is what I would like to convey
Thank you so much.
to the young researchers.
It's really nice to hear that you have conveyed a message that you have given at your own home to all the young researchers here. And I would like to ask that you have attended our conference as well. So what would be a positive feedback that you would like to share with us?
Madam, in fact, it was my fourth that way presentation in Eurasia Research sponsored conference. Like 2 times I have done it online, Seoul, South Korea, and then Bali, Indonesia. I couldn't go, I just managed online. I was given the permission because it was like that mode that both options were there. Then before that, I had gone long back to this Malaysia also myself, physically attending that happened. And this time in July, I could go for the fourth time to Bangkok, Thailand. It is always a matter of that way pleasure of listening to scholars, researchers from different parts of the world who are speaking in different areas of humanities and social sciences. It is always a matter of learning. It's always a matter of exposure, listening to people from so many different parts of the world. Like in this time, if I remember, when I was there in Bangkok, people were there from Thailand, China, Malaysia, Germany, USA, Japan. So it was really a matter of that way learning that people are speaking about their research in their areas of humanities and social sciences, speaking something that is happening in my teaching in Japan or something happening in the agriculture sector in Thailand. So those things were really, sometimes they are giving to you altogether a different exposure. Definitely, it's a matter of great learning, and I would definitely be thanking Dr. Charles also, that he's the organizer who is interacting in the email and helping to organize so many things. And then I would be thanking Dr. Patama also, who was chairing the session this time and organizing the whole event. She was from Thailand and she also presented herself, her work also. But then she was so helpful in so many things. And then she ensured that we were able to, that way, we were able to speak properly in the term that was allocated. We were given that help also for everything. In fact, for food also, for this and that. In fact, I remember that when that way food was not there, she offered her food to me, that let me wait for the food, more will come, you take this. So you remember such gestures also. that's such a kind, and well-known researchers when they behave as good organizers also. So it's always a matter of, that way you feel good about it, that you feel like going back to such conferences again in the way when such kind of atmosphere is provided by, that way, such platforms. So I once again thank Dr. Charles like for giving to me this kind of opportunity, and I would be definitely going in future also. That it's always definitely looking forward to.
Thank you so much for sharing such good experience with us. And we are really thankful for you to join our conferences consistently. And we are looking forward to see you at our upcoming conferences as well. And lastly, I would like to thank you for sharing your experience with us. And we are really grateful to have you. And it would be really great to see you at our upcoming conferences as well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you for your time. God bless. God bless.
Thank you, Dr. Neeraj Kumar Sachdev. That was a wonderful words that you have shared with us. And I hope everyone is enjoying the conference. And moving forward, today's conference schedule, our session 1:30 a.m. GMT. Session 2, team activity and photo session. Session 3, technical talk, 7:45 onwards. Please rename your Zoom account with your full name in English. This will help us to record your presence. You may ask your questions related to the presentation in the chat session while the presentations are going on. All the certificates, receipts, and proceedings will be sent to the participants within a week on their mail IDs. The proceedings will include all the full papers and abstracts except the publication process. The publication process starts once the registration process is complete. The author needs to send their papers, consent forms, and reviewer details on the email ID, that is convener@eurasiaresearch.info. The abstracts and papers received will be first published in the conference book of proceedings online. Only the selected papers will be moved in our publication timeline. The review reports will be sent to the author once the review process is over. The final stage of publication starts after receiving the revised papers from the authors. Please note that the publication process takes around 15 to 20 days after the conference dates if the editorial guidelines are followed within the given deadline. Today, our first keynote speaker is Dr. David Susbo, L, PhD. He is an independent researcher and his topic is the educational potentials of Baka L's Hackett books. David. Hello, David.
Hi, good morning.
Hi. So you want me to present your presentation or you would like to present live?
You can play it because I recorded it last evening.
Yes.
Make sure that
Yes.
there will be no problem with the connection.
Thank you. I'll present on your behalf.
Morning. Thank you for being here. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to speak at the National Conference and to be one of the keynote speakers. The title of my presentation is The Educational Potential of a Hackett Book. In the next 25 minutes, I would like to introduce a relatively new project of approach that I hope will spark the interest of many. Today, many teachers ask the same question: Why don't students enjoy reading anymore? There are many possible answers. One reason is that students often find the text boring or hard to understand. The stories and topics do not speak to them and they feel too far from their own world. Another problem is the lack of choice. Students usually cannot choose what to read, so reading becomes just another school task. And finally, many students feel that the text have nothing to do with their real life. They cannot connect with the characters or situations, so reading becomes something they do for school, not for themselves. Package book project starts with a problem and tries to offer a new, more personal way to bring literature back into students. These problems are also connected to the way we teach literature today. Most schools use a one-size-fits-all curriculum where all students read the same text in the same way. But students are different. They have different needs, interests, and reading level. Another issue is that we often focus too much on the literary canon. Of course, classic works are important, but they don't always help students build a personal connection with literature. We forget that experience and emotion also matter. In many lessons today, the main focus is still on assessment. Teachers often check what students remember or how well they understand the material. But if we focus too much on tests and grades, students lose interest. They stop reading because they enjoy it and start reading only to get it too far. The package book project wants to change this. It puts more attention on the experience, student choice, and personal development in literature education. The package book is a special kind of school for learning literature. It's not a traditional textbook where texts follow each other in a quick order. Instead, it is a real box, physical box, that contains different texts, stories, and reading material. Each text comes with a creative start, questions, and activities. What, what makes the package book unique in that students can choose freely. They don't have to follow any strict order. They can skip text they do not like or return to what they enjoy. There is no pressure to finish everything. Even more students can add their own text to the book. This way, they help build the reading list themselves. The package book is modular and flexible. It combines theory, grammar pedagogy, and the playful method. Students can read, discuss, act out things, or create something new. It supports deep reading, personal engagement, and creative thinking. Most importantly, the package book gives students more freedom and ownership in the learning process. It helps them see literature not just as schoolwork, but as something they can shape and enjoy. In today's schools, the role of literature education is changing. There are many debates about what and how we should teach. On one hand, we have national curricula and stat text. On the other hand, we have students with different needs and interests. Many students are not motivated to read, and traditional teaching methods do not always help. Because of this problem, people are looking for a new way to teach literature. More and more people believe that students should not just receive information, but take an active role. Literature lessons can be a place for personal connection, creative thinking, and real engagement. The package book project was born in this context. It tries to offer a new kind of learning experience in Hungarian language schools in Slovakia. It is not a normal textbook. Instead, it is flexible, modular, and based on student choice. It uses modern literature, popular culture, and drama-based methods to make reading more meaningful. In this presentation, I will first talk about the theory behind the package book, then I will show how it can work in practice, and finally, I will explain how it changes the way we think about assessment with a special focus on formative thinking. The goal is to show how the package book can help renew literature education and support students in becoming active and motivated reader. Each packet in the packet book is built around the text or a group of text. This can be classical literary text, but also modern or popular ones, for example, poems, short stories, song lyrics, or online content. The goal is to offer variety and connect reading to students' real-life interests. At the beginning of each packet, there is an entry activity. This helps students get into the topic. It can be a short game, a video, photo, or just an open question. These activities are fun and help students start thinking and sharing ideas. After that, there are different kinds of tasks. Some focus on creativity, like rewriting the scene or drawing a character. Other tasks ask for critical thinking with group work, where students solve problems or reflect on the text together. The tasks are flexible and can be done in many ways. Finally, each packet includes optional material for those who want to go deeper. These can be extra reading, research tasks, or personal projects as well. Students can choose how much they want to learn, or how much they want to. This way, the packet fits different levels and interests. So each packet is more than just a worksheet. It's a small creative world built around the text where students can explore, play, and learn at their own pace. On this slide, you can see a real example of a packet. This one was made for Jeff Vandermeer's Rich Trilogy, the contemporary series published in 2014. The package was created in Hungarian and include different kinds of material. There are texts from the trilogy, creative entry tasks, questions, and group activities. For example, one task asks students to form groups of 5. Then they introduce themselves as the characters they have developed, but instead of speaking freely, they answer questions from the others. This way, students get to act and explore the characters in a fun and interactive way. As you can see, the package is not just text. It uses strong visuals, creative tasks, and group work to make reading more exciting and immersive. Students can choose how they work with the package, the order of activities, and how deeply they want to engage with the material. This example shows how even complex and contemporary literature can become more engaging with the right tools and method. The Textbook Project, created by Patrick Bockwell, is an innovative educational program designed to modernize literature teaching. It focuses on making learning more student-centered and flexible. Instead of a fixed linear curriculum, Packet Book uses a packet novel concept where students and teachers can choose which text to read and in what order. The project mainly uses contemporary literature, including popular genres like speculative fiction and fantasy, and also connect literature with popular culture, which helps make reading more relevant to the one of the important methods in the project drama pedagogy, which encourages acting, role play, and creativity in the classroom. This approach supports deeper understanding and makes literature more engaging. Packet book comes in a physical box, not just a book. This format gives students a real sense of choice and helps them take control of their learning. The project supports a diverse reading plan. Students can select text based on their interest and reading level, which makes learning more personal and unique. Beyond reading skills, the packet book helps develop critical thinking and encourages students to enjoy reading. It uses creative stuff like writing, drama, and art to build a strong personal connection to literature. In summary, the packet book project aims to create readers who don't just read because they have to, but who want to read and engage deeply with text. And now I would like to talk about the pedagogical potential. The package book project is more than just a new text format. It creates a learning environment where students take an active role. Instead of following a fixed reading list, students choose text based on their own interest and reading level. This freedom motivates them and turns learning into a personal journey. Teachers do not just give information, they guide and support students adapting lessons. It makes learning more effective and engaging. The package book also uses experiential learning where students learn by doing and feeling. They don't only read text but explore them through creative activities like drama, art, or writing. This helps students connect emotionally with literature and learn better. The package book also helps students develop important social and emotional skills through teamwork, communication, and reflection. It includes contemporary genres like fantasy and dystopia, which relate closely to students' own experiences. The project connects literature with other subjects such as history, art, or science, creating a rich interdisciplinary learning experience. Teachers learn as co-navigators, choosing materials and methods that best fit their students. Finally, the physical book form of the package book is not just practical but also motivational. It makes the learning choice clear and easy to explore, especially for younger students, for instance, with that extent. The textbook project is not only about changing how we teach literature, but also rethinking how we assess students. Learning is seen as a personal and active process, not just memorizing facts in a test. Therefore, assessment should not be only about grades and tests. Instead, it should support students continuously as they learn. In the textbook approach, students follow their own learning path, choosing what interests them. Assessment needs to reflect this by giving ongoing feedback and encouraging self-reflection. Formative assessment plays a key role here. Unlike traditional testing that ranks students, formative evaluation helps students grow and improve step by step. It supports independent thinking and cooperation. The package book and formative assessments fit well together because both focus on personal development, active learning, and giving students more control over their progress. This combination can bring real change to how we understand and view assessment in literature education. Pedagogical assessment is not just about testing or giving grades. It is a complex process of giving feedback that helps both students and teachers. It looks at how learning happens, what the goals are, and how well students are reaching them. Assessment also has many different functions. It gives feedback, shows progress, support motivation, and helps correct mistakes. It can be used to recognize students' work or guide their development. To be effective, assessment must be planned carefully. Teachers need to assess with a clear purpose and an understanding of what students need to grow. It is a tool not only for measuring, but for helping learning move forward. Formative assessment fits naturally into the package of philosophy. The goal is not to give grades, but to help students grow and reflect on their learning. Students choose their own path through the material, so the assessment must also adapt to their needs. Instead of tests, the package book uses things like learning journals, creative stuff, peer feedback, and group projects. These methods give useful personal feedback and make learning more meaningful. In this system, the teacher does not act like a judge, but like a mentor. They support students, help them reflect, and learn together with them. Group activities also make it easy to use formative feedback during the learning process, not just at the end. Altogether, formative assessment is not something added to the package book, it is a central part of how it works. And now I would like to summarize. So the package book project offers much more than a new way to teach literature. It suggests a complete rethinking of how learning happens. In this model, students don't just follow instruction, they become active participants in their own learning journey. They choose what to read, connect with modern and popular texts, and learn through creative hands-on experience. The teacher's role also changes. Instead of being the only source of knowledge, the teacher becomes the mentor and guide who helps students grow and support their creativity and independence. Formative assessment fits perfectly into it focuses on feedback, self-reflection, and collaboration, not just on results. This helps students become more aware of their own learning process and more motivated for reading. Instead of learning only for grades or exams, students learn because they are curious and involved. This leads to deeper, more meaningful knowledge that lasts longer and builds real skills. What we have seen is that the package book and formative assessment are not only compatible, they make each other stronger. Together, they offer a powerful tool for changing literature education in a positive way. But for this change to happen, we need more than new materials or new methods. We need a shift in how teachers, students, and even the whole education system think about learning. The real challenge is not just what we teach, but how we think about teaching and learning. And I would like to say thank you for all of you for your attention.
Thank you, David. That was a wonderful presentation, and I hope everyone, if anyone has a query, please, you can put your query in the chat box, and the presenter, David, will answer in the chat box itself. Moving forward with our next participant. And next participant is Roland A. from Kangwon University Global Education Center, Ingenium College, Seoul, South Korea. His topic is Critics and Actual Results of the State Support for the Young Families during the Fitz's Government 2010 to 2025. Roland, hello. So you would like to present live, or you want me to present on your behalf? Hello, your voice is.
So I sent you the link. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we do have your presentation. So,
yeah, okay. So please just do it, the run. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so we would like to present on your behalf.
Thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to welcome you to my keynote speech, to my presentation. Dear Eurasia organization team and participants of the International Conference on Social Science and Humanities in Budapest. I'm truly delighted to greet you today I'm grateful for the chance to share with you the results of my research, actual impact of the state support on young families under the Fidesz government between 2010 and 2025. This subject has recently drawn much interest in South Korea as well, since the government there is also seeking for ways to raise the fertility rate and broaden social welfare. I look forward to exchanging ideas with you and learning from your perspectives during this conference. I start now with the actual presentation. When the conservative right-sided party won the election, the country was in a severe financial and moral situation. The Fidesz-led government promised to help the country to develop and to support Hungary to become competitive. The government built on conservative religious values and rising national focus, while the socialist ruling placed the individuum more into the focus. The newly elected government has started to support family rating very generous. This happened also with the second thought to attract the youth that immigrated to Western Europe, where the family support was usually more mature and beneficial than in Hungary. The following sections I'm going to introduce to you during my presentation: the development of family support systems in 3 phases, then expectations against reality of birth rate, and also the other objectives of the government, then impacts on housing prices due to the government stimulus, and lessons and solutions as well, which we can see during the presentation. And I will close my presentation with the conclusion. So the first phase is to be mentioned for 2010 to 2014, where the foundation was built. The initial period of Hungary's family policy transformation focused on laying the foundation for a more comprehensive system. One of the first major initiatives was the introduction of a family-friendly personal income tax system in 2011, which provides significant tax reductions based on the number of children in a family, but also discriminates families with 1 child and families with 1 parent. Instead, new measures such as family tax benefits has been implemented, but also this was not further increased for long term. The government also began implementing significant utility price cuts in 2013, leading to prices which are not true, and also initially helping families, but also hindering the installation of new energy-saving technologies in heating and power consumption. During this foundational phase, the government also addressed broader economic factors affecting a family well-being. We have seen here required mandatory bank conversion of foreign currency denominated loans, where the households were then helped, and through the significant relief as their debt burden was reduced through the preferential exchange rates. And we also see the bank stability here as a main goal. The conversion helped the banks to manage their open foreign currency positions, reducing their risks, stabilizing the financial sector. And that's the last point. We also see here that, so I also see here that the large-scale conversion of foreign reduce the overall foreign currency exposure of the country itself as well. The system itself is large, actually, and the second phase of the Hungary's family policies development saw a significant expansion of both the scope and the generosity of support measures. A landmark initiative introduced in 2015 was the CHOKE, Family Home Creation Program, which provided substantial subsidies for home purchases or construction for families committing to have children. The CHOKE program offered different levels of support based on the number of children promised. We see here the values. Hungary has developed a comprehensive childcare system designed to support parents from pregnancy through their child or children's early years. The system includes a maternity benefit that is equal to 225% of the minimum pension at the time of the child's birth, with higher amounts for twins and so forth. For parents who have been socially insured before childbirth, the infant care fee is provided during the maternity leave at 100% of the salary earned prior to the childbirth. Parents also are entitled to paid parental leave under their child, so until their child turns 3, with the child care fee available until the child reaches the age 2 at 70% of the parent's previous salary, capped at 810 euros. From age 2 to 3, all mothers receive the so-called child care allowances without eligibility testing. And the key innovation was in 2014, the introduction of child care fee extra program, which allows parents to take up employment full-time or part-time when their child becomes 6 months old without losing their eligibility for the child care fee. This reform was designed to help parents balance work and family responsibilities without being forced to make an all or nothing choice between career and childcare. Now let's come to the third phase, the adaptation and enhancement. During this period, and also over this period, the amount of family allowance hasn't been increased despite of the high inflation after COVID-19. The most recent phase of Hungary's family policy development has been characterized by both enhancement of existing measures and adaptation to new challenges, including COVID-19, pandemic, global economic instability, and the war in Ukraine. Despite these external pressures, Hungary continued to expand its family support system. In 2024, the government introduced the CHOKE Plus, which increased the maximum loan amount to 50 million forint for families with 3 children. The conditions for the baby loan program were also modified, and the maximum borrowing limit increased from 10 to 11 million forint, but the age limit for female borrowers was lowered at the same time from 41 to 30. These periods also saw the introduction of specialized support programs targeting special demographic groups. The Village CHOKE scheme provided enhanced support for families living in settlements with a fewer than 5,000 inhabitants. For families with 3 children in such communities, the combined value of the Village program, the CHOKE Plus program, and the baby loan could reach about 76 million forint as well. This targeted approach reflected the government's recognition that different communities face distinct challenges and opportunities regarding family formation. Now let's see the outcomes and the goals again. So the goal was, in the case of the government, that to reverse population decline. The core objective was to save the nation from what Prime Minister Viktor Orban called the demographic abyss, and then to increase fertility rate. The government goal was to boost the total fertility rate from 10 as low as 1.23, and to reach the maintenance of the population level. Encourage childbearing, so the policies were designed to make having children financially advantageous and to support family throughout the entire life course. And then increase marriages and reduce divorces. So the government aimed to strengthen the institution of marriage, as a conservative government also would do that. And in the reality, let's see what happened. The fertility rate in Hungary saw a notable increase from 1.23 in 2010 to a height of 1.61 in 2021. This was a significant achievement, and we can also say that Hungary it put Hungary among the EU leaders for the largest increase in fertility over this period. The government often cited this as proof of the success of their policies, that the stagnation and decline happened. So in 2023, the rate decreased to 1.51, and actually the recent data shows for 2024 that it also reached another negative record now, so 1.39. This shows that the initial momentum hasn't been sustained and the rate has fallen below the 2021 peak. Also, other demographic factors, we see the increase in fertility rate occurred despite the declining number of women of childbearing age, which means that the policies did encourage a high rate of childbearing among those who could. The number of marriages also almost doubled, and the number of abortions have fallen as well. We also see that after a peak of 72,000 marriages in 2021, the number declined to 50,200 in 2023 and 46,550 in 2024. Government officials and analysts have attributed these setbacks to external factors, including COVID-19 pandemic, the war in Ukraine, the energy crisis. But indeed, many believe that this isn't real because in other countries of the European Union, that this situation hasn't changed that much. So the table serves as a quick overview of the programs implemented during the last 15 years. And the current program that has been implemented is the 3% home purchase credit programs, the home start for first-time buyers, reflecting that the priority lies on the home ownership that would be made more accessible, but experts actually say that this won't happen. And why it won't happen, we see here under the measurable impact prices. Housing prices surged by 260% between 2010 and the first quarter of 2025. This is the largest among European Union countries. And the second one would be Estonia. Government also drives the demand and not the supply through the subsidies, and then tax benefits and pension fund excess can be used as well for renovation and new home buying as well. Now, in a regional comparison, we see a home price increase of 19% annually up to 2025, the first quarter. And then in large cities, especially due to industrial investment and urbanization, we see a rise of 10 to 70% annually. The most searched prototype types were panel apartments, so prefabricated ones with the highest growth of 20+% annually, and new constructions also appreciated fastest. We further see that the demand supply imbalance causes troubles in the country. So government subsidies for demand happened instead of the supply side. Construction lags due to high material costs, and then investor activities we see here. So again, Chinese, Vietnamese, Russian capitalized on programs like the Golden Visa Scheme, which was also negatively mentioned by the European Union. So, affordability crisis, the prices outpaced the wage growth, making the home ownership challenging for locals despite subsidies. And there is a price rise forecast due to the latest program I mentioned before, so Auto Start, the Home Start program from September 2025. It is about increased estimate. So the estimated increase is about 10 to 20% by a year from 2025 to 2026. GDA points out that the problem lies on the supply side. So far, too few apartments have been built in the past 15 years, with Hungary having one of the lowest ratios among OECD countries. An even bigger issue is that the current support scheme primarily benefits those who are already better off. So for those who are less better off, so young people and lower income households, this is a serious blow. If you truly want to help them, the focus should be on stimulating supply rather than on demand. Another problem is that the open system, the system of national cooperation, has less interest in residential construction compared to industrial projects, since these homes are not built on the basis of state orders, but privately financed. Accordingly, the Home Start program seems to fail to help, and it is forecasted that the value of the subsidy is nullified by the price increase. So there are also lessons which we can see. Several sources critique the demand side focus of Hungarian housing policy, noting a severe shortage in public or rental housing, effectively marginalizing lower income and first-time buyers. Hungary's recent housing support programs have primarily increased demand for dwelling, but insufficient attention to supply-side policy has led to significant price hikes, affordability challenges, and market instability. What we see here are the key lessons. Demand-driven subsidies drive prices up if supply lags. And regulatory instability deters investment, so frequent changes to building codes, unpredictable VAT rates, and red tape discourages developers, causing a drop in new housing starts. The next one is the rental and public housing sector is neglected, Hungary's housing model heavily favors home ownership with just 10% rental housing and minimal social housing, limiting options for low income and young households. And as number 4, we see here the skills and labor shortages in construction, a lack of skilled workers and slow recovery of the sector's workforce contributed to supply bottlenecks. There are also solution suggestions by Zsidai, a star economist in Hungary. Higher housing density, allowing taller buildings would perhaps help. Also, state infrastructure development in designated residential areas. Speeding up, facilitating permits for developers, and then training professionals, training workforce, ensuring equal market opportunities and treatment for all developers, completely eliminating corruption and favoritism would help a lot. State rental housing and construction program, mandatory state offering of a portion of market purchases for rental housing purposes. And also, the government should target support those who truly need it, vulnerable families who deserve a real chance at housing. Instead of loan waivers, this can be done with direct aid like rental assistance or low-cost housing. But we must be careful. Ending subsidies too suddenly could crash the housing market, hurt families still paying off loans, and even damage banks, just like the mortgage crisis in 2008. In international and analytical lessons, we can also see a few points. The worldwide evidence shows that when demand subsidies are not matched by increased supplies, and prices shifting fast. Align supply incentives with demand support would be necessary. So link subsidies to new constructions, not just purchases of existing homes, through direct grants, tax incentives, and reduced VAT, or basically zero VAT. Earmark some subsidies exclusively for developments that add net new housing units. Address also regulatory and bureaucratic barriers. Simplify and stabilize building regulations, permitting processes to encourage developers to invest confidently. Streamline zoning and land use policies to allow higher density development. And then expand and professionalize construction workforce. Invest in vocational training and offer incentives to attract or retain skilled labor. Also broaden housing tenure options, so develop a stronger social housing sector and incentivize professional private rental markets, creating affordable alternatives to home ownership, and then implement targeted supply interventions, make unused government land available for residential building, or use public-private partnership and affordable housing development. So during my presentation, we saw Fidesz government uses populist measures to show how generous the state is, and then represent the goal to stand on the side of families with enhanced support for house. Due to the lack of housing investment, that is the supply side, the support system fails to aid those in need. Many professionals and economists call for correction of the housing support system. International examples also, for example, Poland, show that the state needs to intervene on the supply side, which perhaps will not happen within the next few years if the same
Sorry, I can't hear anything from you.
Same here. I couldn't hear you. Hello.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, now it's okay.
Thank you, Roland, for the wonderful presentation. And I would request all the participants to put their queries in the chat box. Moving forward, our team activity session. Let's proceed towards our team building activity. Sometimes we miss the opportunity of connection and linkage with fellow participants of the conference. This team activity is to encourage interaction among all the participants. One by one, we will share the views and solutions on the topic of the discussion, and also will be conducting a photo session during the same. A topic of discussion, how to make smart decisions more easily, video credit and copyrights, Jolin tab. I would request everyone to turn on their cameras for the photo session. Thank you. Just a minute. Thank you everyone for turning on the cameras. Moving forward with the team activity.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to.
एक छोटी सी बच्ची को रेस्क्यू किया था, वो भाग ना जाए इसके लिए उसके प्राइवेट पार्ट में ग्रीन चिली क्रश
In a 2011 study, researchers followed a group of judges deciding whether or not to offer imprisoned individuals a chance at parole. Logically, one might expect things like an imprisoned person's crime, existing sentence, and current behavior to be the primary considerations. But while those details were duly examined, one variable had a remarkably large impact: the time of day. Imprisoned people who met with the board in the morning were far more likely to receive parole than those whose cases were reviewed in the afternoon, even if their crimes and sentences were practically identical. This finding might seem strange, but the researchers' explanation was simple. In the afternoon, the judges were likely exhausted. Specifically, they were experiencing decision fatigue. This kind of cognitive exhaustion occurs after a period of extended decision-making, and it can make people more impulsive and less confident while making choices. The dangers of decision fatigue are clear in high-stakes scenarios like this study, but it can have a serious impact on our day-to-day lives as well. So what kinds of choices lead us to this state, and what can we do to fight fatigue? Everything our bodies do, whether physical or mental, uses energy. But while it's unclear exactly what resources are depleted during mental strain, studies have found many individuals seem to have a daily threshold for making decisions. And once that threshold is met, most people make the conscious choice to take it easy and save serious thinking about any new decisions for another day. How
Again, there is no voice.
day, decision fatigue can be much more dangerous. Judges, like those in the 2011 study, often encounter difficult decisions back to back with no time to recover. Many researchers are especially concerned about decision fatigue in medicine. Doctors often work long shifts full of life or death decisions, and some studies have found that medical workers are much more likely to make critical mistakes when working extended shifts. Addressing these issues requires institutional changes, but there are much more direct ways most of us can avoid fatigue in our daily lives. One simple strategy is to make fewer daily decisions, tackling your to-do list over multiple days, or even removing some rote decisions from your day altogether. It's also typically less draining to offer advice on a hard decision than it is to make that choice yourself. So it can be helpful to imagine your decisions as someone else's before considering how the consequences impact you specifically. Finally, it's essential to remember that not every choice is equally important, and learning how to relax about the small stuff can help you save energy for the decisions that truly matter. Did you know that there's a natural, altered state of consciousness that can provide positive emotions, creativity, and feelings of accomplishment? It's called flow, and we can all access it. Find out how with this video or get more actionable science-based advice on how to build character at ed.tech.
So, anyone would like to have a discussion? Anyone would like to share their views? Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I can say something that sometimes in order to make a hard, big decision, it's easier to divide it into small tasks.
Yes, agree.
Yeah, so sometimes it's easier to say it than to do it, but like if I want to write a new research and I wanted to start with it, sometimes I only have the topic title that I want to talk about and nothing else. Searching for new resources in a new topic is mostly the hard thing to do, the hardest thing to do, sorry. And sometimes I take a week to start it. So I make kind of a way for myself to start in this, which is to speak it out loud with someone that I trust. Sometimes it's not always someone who understands what you are talking about. It's not like someone from your same uh, place of work or a colleague of yours. It's just someone who can hear you And when you speak out loud and listen to yourself, the solutions will just come from you, but it's not like you're thinking inner think inside your head. And when you speak it out loud, then your mind will start to think like this. They said in the video, your mind will start to think it's someone else's problem, and it will start to make solutions for it. Thank you. That was my inner. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma, for your words. And anyone who would like to share their views? Okay, thank you, everyone. So moving forward with our next participant. Our first presenter is Maha Ismail, Doctoral School of History, Department of Archaeology, Tasmani Peter Catholic University, Budapest. Her topic is rural funerary landscapes on the Syrian coast during the Roman and Byzantine periods, architecture, epigraphy, and cultural identity. Wow.
Thank you. I will share my screen.
Thank you.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Oh. Sorry, I kind of don't see where to start it.
Like it.
Try pressing F5 on your keyboard.
Sorry?
Try pressing F5 on your keyboard at the top.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
So, good morning, everyone. My name is Maha Ismail, and my presentation today explores the funerary landscape of rural settlements on the Syrian coast during the Roman and Byzantine periods. And today I'm going to focus on how tombs, inscriptions, and also the cultural material reflect the social and the religious identity. The core question guiding my research is how rural burial practices between the 1st and the 6th centuries mirrored border transformation in memory, kinship, and religion, rather than just viewing the tombs as an active social and symbolic landscape, as only viewing them as static remains. I will approach to show them as an active social symbolic landscapes. So my study is focused on the hinterland of ancient Jabala, which in modern days it's the Jabla city on the Syrian coast. The rural landscape preserve a diverse set of burial sites, which are shows in the on the map. And those sites remains under studies compared to other urban necropolis. In this research, it integrates three main sources: the published epigraphy, And I tried to bring the newer published epigraphy for the area, even though it's really rare, and also the Syrian National Archaeological Surveys, and finally my own field documentation, which I conducted in 2023. These three main resources together, they allow for typological and special analysis of tombs in relation of settlements, fields, and also shrines. So the funerary landscape in Jabal Hinterland shows several typologies. There is the first of them, the rock cut tombs, which is the most common tombs in the area, and those are tombs are carved into limestones and slopes at many sites, like in Bishman site in Barsuma and also in Khirbat al-Mardasiya, which I will talk about them in the other slides. There's also collective tombs, such as those at Rahibiya. Those tombs mostly are multiple chambers, and were reused across generations. Sometimes it's multiple chambers for the same family. Also, in some cases, there are tombs were placed near or within churches, and some symbols were with them, that there is on front of the door there are crosses, and you on your orientation reflecting the Christians, the Christian influence. Also, the funerary inscriptions themselves sometimes provide a topological access. Like in Bishman's site or Al-Khurba site, there were Greek steels, reveal a culture and social identities. Finally, there is also modest tombs, like in Beit el-Fay or in Al-Ajlaniya sites as well. Those reflect there are non-elite, there's traditions sometimes integrate directly into the agriculture or in the domestic landscapes. So these typologies show a diverse and evolving modernity culture. Here, I will talk about my case studies. There are 6 sites, 3 of them are mainly full studies, and the other 3 are still in progress. Starting with Bishman site, we found this is the one. It has a large rock cut chamber with a Greek inscription before it, and I will talk about it later. This illustrates light self-representation using Hellenistic tradition. It was the inscription was written in Greek language. Also, there is Khirbat al-Mardasiya, or what we all call Thawra site. It is multi-chamber tomb, contain lamps, bracelets, and other objects. That suggests complex ritual of memory and identity. Also, the last one, which is on the site of Barsuma, it's a collective rock cut tomb. It was hard to get inside it, to be honest, but. The most marked in it was carved cross above on the entrance, and this is a powerful indicator of Christianization in the countryside during the Byzantine period. These 3 examples show how rural burial could range from elite inscriptions to modest families' tombs, and also from traditions to tradition forms to Christianized symbols. But also there are other sites that mentioned worth to be mentioned briefly. For example, in Beit el-Fay, there is a modest tomb adjacent to a rock cut well. It associates raises question about the role of water in funerary ritual, whether it's symbolic or just a functional. It's purely functional. To put it sided. Also, there's the site of Rahibiya. where we identified the collective rock cut count, and there were red slate pottery inside it, dated back to the 5th century, which is in the Byzantine period. The tomb is modest, without any inscription, any reflection. It's also communal practices of rural agriculture families. There's also a Rajlania side, which is another multi-chamber tomb. It's a collective tomb as well. It's found in close proximity to a small press and ceramics. So that suggests also a special and possibly ritual link between the economic activity and burial practices. As I said, those are still in process sites, so those are just hypotheses for the sites. But in total, it illustrates that not all the rural tombs were monumental or inscribed. Many of them remained simple, communal, and somehow it's connected and tied to the daily village life. About the inscriptions, those are the main three very important inscriptions we found in the hinterland of Jabla. At Bishman's side, before the large chamber we found, there were a Greek inscription commemorate someone named Zenodoros that is building this chamber or this tomb for himself and his wife Dionysa. The language and the formula reflected to the Hellenistic traditions, and it dated back to between the 1st and the 3rd century, where was the Roman Empire at that time in the area. Also, there were at Al-Khurba side another inscription. It wasn't really like we couldn't really read it like the one in the at the Bishman side, but however, the inscription mentioned a woman named Theodora, and while this no explicit Christian symbols appear, but still the name itself carries Christian associations, as Dr. Masoud Badawi said. So, reflecting to the gorgeous spirit of the Christian identity in the countryside. Though it maybe go back to the period where the Byzantine era started with the Christianization. Also, there's another one with in the site of Arab al-Mulk. There were a funerary stele depicting robed woman with a Greek inscription naming it on the top of it Nominios. And this shows how individualized commemoration could also coexist alongside more modest collective tombs. So these three inscriptions were too important, and it illustrates the presence of Greek as the funerary language, which mean it was a main language at the hinterlands by that time, and the culture and the religious identities just shaping rural communities. Also, when we place the funerary evidence we have in the Jabla hinterland region in the border Levante context, it's important that we have found some differences and another similarities emerge as well. Along with the Syrian coast, there were tombs are mostly rock cut and collective. They often appear in irregular clusters on the fringe of villages or near some other agricultural terraces with inscriptions in Greek mostly that preserve Hellenistic culture markers. This rural patterns contrast with the site of Afamia as well on the Syrian coast, where necropolies were more formally organized and clearly influenced by the city's urban traditions. Also, there were in the northern Lebanon. It's on the same line of the Syrian coastline in Lebanon. In the hinterland, the landscapes is more comparable to Jebla hinterland, with modest rock-cut tombs in the countryside as well. However, in northern Lebanon, there were more Christian symbols, such as crosses and inscriptions, and it become more explicit, thereby by the date of later Byzantine period. Also, there is the date cities in the northern area. The situation is different in the date cities because it was like big economic cities, and funerary moments are often momental, sometimes tower or integrate with, I don't know, essential buildings reflecting the greater economic resources and Christianization of those communities. So while the Syrian coast shows strong continuity with older traditions and gradual Christianization, the cities highlight more rapid and momental integration of funerary and religious, which was the most differences between the both sides. This comparative lens underlines of how geography, also economy, the religious changes produce distinct religion trajectories in the late antiquity and started with the Byzantine period as well. To conclude my research, the funeral record of the Syrian coastal countryside demonstrates remarkable diversity of elaborate the rock-cut chambers to modest family tombs as well. These tombs were not just isolated from the life; they were integrated into fields, roads, and sometimes they were inside the villages. Even though the Roman period, they were putting the tombs outside the cities, it was traditional for them. But for the villages, they integrated the tombs sometimes inside the houses as well. Also, there's the inscriptions and symbols that reveal how rural communities expressed identity, memories, and the gradual adoption of Christianity. Far from being passive remains, these tombs actively shape social and religious life in the countryside, and they stand as material witnesses to cultural transformation, late antiquity, Byzantine period, and somehow starting to the 7th century as well, in the starting of Islamic period as well. That was everything. Thank you for attention. And if there are any question, I'm happy to answer it.
Thank you, Maha, for the insightful presentation.
Thank you.
Anyone would like to have a question, then please put it in the chat box. Paulus, you have a question?
Yeah, but I put it in the chat box. But if to shortly answer, it's a very interesting topic and presentation. I was wondering, why have you selected this specific region for your research and not some other region?
Actually, I was born in this city, and as far as Syria is well known for archaeologists, but all the hinterland of the Syrian coast, none really. There's no research on it, even though there's a lot of rural settlements in it that integrates the Roman and Byzantine periods. So I suggested that I will document every settlement in it. And it's really hard to work on it because there are a lot. So I tried to divide them into olive presses, wine presses, tombs, churches, and so on. So each one I work on it on divided research. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving forward with our next participant. If anyone else has a question, please put it in the chat box. The presenter will answer all your queries in the chat box itself. Moving forward with the next presenter, Roxana Maria Bar, Faculty of Economic Science, Lucian Blaga, University of Sibiu, Romania. Topic: the digitalization of open innovation, the impact of technologies on value co-creation in the ride-hailing platforms.
Hello.
Hello,
I'm
Roxana. How are
uh,
you?
I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. I'm presenting this paper, the digitalization of open innovation in ride-hailing platforms. And the table of contents for today is introduction, methodology, results, limitations, and conclusions. As we all know, the digital transformation of our society has completely changed the economy as we know it. And it induced new forms of innovation and reshaped the value creation in the entire industry. Sharing economy is an emerging economic model defined by the peer-to-peer exchange of goods, services, or assets, often via digital platforms, in which the digitalization is highly adopted and technology instruments are used to intermediate two categories, such as drivers with clients or hosts with their clients. This model shifts from ownership to access, enabling both individuals and organizations to monetize their resources and connect with people needing them. The sharing economy covers a wide variety of sectors, from accommodation to transportation. And in the article today, I'll talk about ride-hailing, which is a form of disruptive innovation. Started in the years of 2000, and it evolved since then. Uber was the first company which launched its services in USA of ride-hailing, and it disrupted the market in which it launched. This innovation provides a flexible and more convenient and cheaper option compared to traditional taxi services and owning a car. The fast adoption and global growth of ride-hailing services highlight their important role in modern transportation systems. And what I want to present moving forward is about how digitalization can, combined with open innovation, can co-create value and can promote collaboration between drivers, companies, and clients. As we can see in this figure, the number of users worldwide for the ride-hailing means of transportation has increased, and also all the means of transportation here has increased over time. But it's expected the expectation of ride-hailing numbers to increase more and more and to overpass other traditional means of transportation. The methodology I used in this article is a qualitative approach, case study. I've read a lot of secondary data analysis of secondary data. Sorry for the emotions. Official company reports, blog posts, press releases, and other web pages. And the main question which I put for this article is how Bolt and Uber use technology in order to encourage open innovation and co-create value with clients and drivers. And firstly, I will take Uber as the first company. It's a top digital platform that shows how digital technology drives the open innovation shared value creation. They use data analytics and artificial intelligence to record the data from their drivers and clients so they can develop more appropriate algorithm to match the rides in a certain city. Uber do not have their own employees. However, they contract drivers who want to use their own cars to offer rides to the clients. And by this, Uber consistently access external resources for its core operations. This demonstrates a model of innovation where value arises from a decentralized network rather than just internal resources. Also, there is a smart matching and dynamic pricing algorithms for Uber due to the fact that they always analyze data analytics, big data from their from its application. Drivers also can accept or decline, and of course, riders can provide feedback systems such as ratings and reviews, and they can share their usage patterns and preferences so the Uber can provide a better features in its application. Also, an important program was Uber Movement, which is a partnership with city officials, urban planning organizations in order to support urban planning, how to make efficient the transportation in cities all around the world. Anyone can apply to Uber. They have their own website on this, and you can go there and apply for a partnership with Uber to make and support urban planning and make it more efficiently. As we can see in this figure, the number of monthly active platform users of Uber worldwide, it has increased over time. Of course, there was a decrease in Q2 and in 2020 with the pandemic. However, afterwards, there was a constant increase of the platform users. The second company is Bolt. It's an European ride-sharing and ride-hailing company. It is on the first place in Europe, and here, as in Uber, riders can provide feedback through ratings and reviews, and of course, clients can provide also feedback at the end of each ride. It employs advanced algorithms for setting dynamic prices, and it matches riders with drivers to improve ride assignments and fare calculations. Its mobile app includes GPS navigation and in-app messaging, and also it has partnerships with Waze and Google Maps for a better planning of the rides throughout the region or the city. Also, big data analytics enables both to accumulate, process, and understand large volumes of operational data, so it can improve over time. As we can see here in this figure, the number of Bolt application downloads has increased since 2016, and for sure it will constantly increase in the near future. This article has some limitations, as the case study comprised only of the companies. It can be included Lyft or Didi or other ride-hailing organizations, regional or national. And the other limitation is that I comprised only the paper comprises only ride-hailing organizations, but they can it can go forward to bike sharing or e-scooter sharing, and further research may comprise other companies which adopt the model of sharing economy. As conclusions, the success of these platforms relies on a combination of advanced digital tools like mobile apps, artificial intelligence, and big data to facilitate real-time interaction and to provide efficient service delivery. The future of ride-hailing will likely involve further technological investment, such as blockchain and autonomous vehicles. I know for sure that Bolt and Uber they are working forward in providing these autonomous vehicles. They started in USA, but they will surely open these operations in Europe as well. Thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, I'm here.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation. And anyone, if any participant has a question, please put it in the chat box, and the presenter will answer all your questions in the chat box itself. So moving forward with our next presenter. And next presenter is Paulius. He's from Institute of Data Science and Digital Technologies, Vilnius University, Lithuania. Topic: enhancing phishing URL detection, resilience via chain-based adversarial training. Paulus.
Yes, thank you. I'm trying to share my screen. If you can see it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so hello everybody. I'm from Vilnius, Lithuania, and my talk will be a little bit more technical. I will talk about the phishing problem and how is the scientific community trying to combat this problem, what are the vulnerabilities in modern technologies, and I will talk about our research, how we tried to solve at least part of these problems. So first, let me explain a bit about the phishing. So as you may know, it's very popular cyber attack, which is aimed at stealing sensitive user data, like your credit card details, passwords, personal data, and so on. And it always serves as a gateway to more severe attacks, like ransomware or intrusions into your systems, stealing data, and so on. And according to FBI, phishing is #1 cybercrime currently in the world. So It is actually a very, very big problem, as you see from the figures in the diagram. For example, last year, phishing cyber attacks managed to steal $16.6 billion worldwide. So, and it's constantly growing. You see at the 2020, at the pandemic, it started to grow more rapidly because users switched to online shopping, online services. We were locked in at homes and started using online services more. So phishers as well started to increase their attacks. And for example, in 2023, we detected, or it was reported, almost 5 million fake websites with fake URLs provided to users globally. So phishing as a technique has two categories. So one is technical means and another social engineering. And in our research, we focused on social engineering problem where phishers try to provide users with fake URLs, fake internet addresses that look like real ones, but actually lead to fake websites where they steal the data, the money, etc. So our goal is to prevent users from clicking on fake URLs and detect them reliably before it happens. So the URL is the main object of our research while preventing phishing attacks. So scientific community actually is solving this problem for a decade now, and the state-of-the-art classifiers which detect if the URL is a legit one or it's a phishing URL, they report in the scientific papers actually very high accuracy, so almost 100% on standard data sets. But when tested against adversarial URLs, which are specifically crafted to evade detection, to evade these classifiers, to trick them, to make false predictions, and then the performance of these models collapses to 30 or 50%. So what it shows that models, artificial intelligence models, are trained on standard data sets, but they do not learn the patterns of the real world of evasive attacks. And they are very vulnerable because the phishers are also always learning, always trying new techniques how to steal your data. So we need to improve current models so they would generalize better on the real world environment. So our research is based on augmenting these training data sets with synthetic examples, synthetic URLs, so we can train artificial intelligence classifiers on more data so they would be more resilient. And for that, we used generative adversarial networks. I will explain shortly what this means. This is a type of network which can generate things, in our case URLs, but the most common examples, as you see on the internet, you can generate synthetic pictures like synthetic animals, shoes, various items. So they were created to generate information. And the question is, can we use GAN as a type of network to adapt it to generating phishing URLs? The question was, what is the optimal architecture for that? Because generative adversarial networks were created to generate pictures, not text. And as you will see, we run into a number of problems while generating text, and I will tell you how we try to solve them. And we compare the results of our study with other research, namely Sabir et al. they created the adversarial attack technique, how to test these state-of-the-art classifiers. So the question was, can we do better than existing research? So the methodology of our experiment was such. So first, the terminology. We created 2 artificial intelligence networks. One is for our baseline detection model. SolastMB is a machine learning classifier which detects if the URL is phishing or legit. So it returns only this answer when you give it to URL. And we created our method FishGAN, which is aimed at generating the synthetic URLs, later used to train our first model to make better decisions, better predictions. So methodology is such. We collected the data set of phishing URLs that are met in real world. We trained our baseline model. Then we performed adversarial attack on this model. So using Sabir methodology and its provided URLs, we attacked our classifier and recorded the result. Then we created our FishGAN method and trained it on also real-world examples, and it generated us some synthetic URLs. Then we used these synthetic URLs with the real-world URLs as well to make a secondary training on our baseline classifier, and then we tested it. Does it do better than before or not? So a few words about these generative adversarial networks. They are actually very interesting invention. They have two networks inside. So the generator, which tries to learn how to generate the objective that we want. The simplest example, for example, is GAN that is used to generate, for example, cats. So generator takes random noise and tries to generate a fake image. Then this fake image is provided to the discriminator. The discriminator is trying to detect if it is a real cat or fake cat, and then it uses the standard machine learning technique backpropagation to learn to do better. So GANs train through this minimax game between 2 networks. One creates fake sample, one tries to detect them, and they both improve at the same time. One is improving to make better fake samples, one is improving to detect them, and in the end we have quite good quality samples. So in our case, we use this for creating synthetic URLs that look like phishing URLs in real life. So the architectures of our models for baseline classifier to detect phishing URLs, if it's a real or phishing URL, we used a network called long short-term memory network. The main point of this network that it has memory. So in our previous research, not presented here, but previous papers, we detected that if we want to detect phishing better or see patterns better in time, we need to use networks with memory. So we use that here, and in our FishGAN method, we used for generator same long short-term memory networks, and for the discriminator, which tries to detect if it's real or fake example, we used fully connected neural network with 7 layers. The challenge that we met while creating that, so as I said before, GANs were created to generate images in the first place. So while trying to generate text, we seen some problems like mode collapse. So mode collapse is when the generator tries to, or its not tries to, but the generator becomes lazy, and it, for example, understands that it can create one type of item. For example, if we have a GAN to generate different animals, mode collapses when the generator learns that if I only generate cats, it will be easier for me to fool the discriminator. So it collapses and does not produce diverse results. Gradient vanishing and gradient boosting is another problems of machine learning when the network just explodes, doesn't learn anymore. So what we did, we threw some mathematics at the problem, and we used Wasserstein GAN. It's a type of GAN which uses Earth moving distance to stabilize gradients, and then we replaced the penalty function with gradient penalty as well, where the weights of the network is not clipping as in standard GAN, but we try to penalize the gradients to enforce the Lipschitz constraint. A bit of technicalities. So now going to the results. Before adversarial training, so at step 1, our baseline classifier received or achieved 95.9% accuracy on detecting phishing URLs. And we noticed that this accuracy is already better than is shown on other research. So this suggests, as we established in previous research, that machine learning algorithms with memory are inherently more robust than standard algorithms. So after adversarial training, so when we used the synthetic phishing URLs to uptrain our baseline classifier to be more resilient, we saw the increase in the accuracy of the classification, and comparing with other research, we see that the attack success rate dropped to 31%. So only 31% the classifier is fooled to make the wrong prediction, comparing with 67% wrong predictions for the state-of-the-art classifier. So that's comparing these two steps using networks with memory and uptraining it with synthetic URLs is giving us 35-something% of better performance for the classifiers. So in conclusion, we proposed an improved Wasserstein GAN and show that it can be used for this task to generate URLs instead of images. If you replace some parts with other mathematics, memory-equipped models show greater resilience. Generative adversarial network-based training works in the real world. So augmenting the data with synthetic examples increases the resilience of classifiers against evasion attacks. And this increase in the real world will, when you remember that $16 billion is stolen annually in the world. So 5-10% increases is a lot of money saved in these cyber attacks. Thank you very much for your attention. That's it from me today.
Thank you, Paulus, for an insightful presentation. Anyone has a question? I would like to request all the participants, if they have any query or any questions, please put it in the chat box. The presenter will answer to your questions in the chat box itself. Okay. moving forward, thank you. With great pleasure and enthusiasm, I would like to conclude that the conference was a great success. Many people have contributed in different ways to turn this event into a smoothly running conference with very interesting presentations. This conference has resulted in good discussions and networking. I owe my gratitude to all the presenters and patient listeners, to the coordinators and the whole staff of Eurasia Research for their constant support. I would also like to thank all the universities and institutes who have sponsored our participants and people who have directly or indirectly contributed in the smooth conduct of this conference. Please note our upcoming conferences in October, Istanbul; in November, Dubai, Singapore, and London; in December, Kuala Lumpur. Please refer to your friends and colleagues. Thank you everyone for joining us today. If anyone has a question, please, you can, or any views you would like to share with us.
Just thank you very much for the organization.
Thank you, Roland, and thank you everyone for joining us today. It was a wonderful event. And if you have any queries, you can email us on the convener@eurasiaresearch.info. See you in our future conferences. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.